My name is Jose Martinez, and the subject of my impromptu speech was my first public appearance. Upon hearing my number being called for me to go up and give my speech, and even before that, I felt like I wasn't nervous and I felt like I didn't have any form of anxiety. It wasn't until after I stood up and began to look at people in the eye and I actually began to speak that I realized that I was actually nervous, which kind of goes back to what our book says, the introduction to speech making by Ross in chapter 2.1, where it states that when an individual is confronted by a bear, it isn't the bear that makes the individual feel afraid, but rather the awareness that they are afraid that makes them feel afraid. And that's kind of what happened to me. It wasn't until after I began to talk to people and I began to look people in the eye that I realized that I was actually terrified and nervous. Something that I tried to do to mitigate that was try to focus on my hand gestures, to try to focus on something else rather than my nervousness and my anxiety. Another thing that I tried to do was kind of avoid eye contact. Even though eye contact is very important for public speaking, it was every time I felt a bit of anxiety come up or nervousness, I would try to avoid eye contact. I would either look at the ground or look at the back of the room, but I would try to not do this as much as stated previously. Eye contact is very important for public speaking. And something that I wish I would have done better would have been speaking more on my subject. It was a bit of a tricky subject, but I just wish I could have spoken more, just so that it would have been a little bit more of a complete speech.